Hello and welcome to Laytechs Weekly episode 10th March 2021. Laytechs Weekly is brought to you by Laytechs, your protection from tech ignorance. My name is Sean. This week's news of the week. OnePlus 9 comes with Hasselblad genes. Finally, as mere mortals can afford some semblance of a Hasselblad camera. Some semblance, not the actual camera. Follow me on this. OnePlus has been working with legendary Swedish camera maker Hasselblad to improve the device's camera systems, which will be revealed on the 23rd of March. The partnership will extend for 3 years, where Hasselblad would help OnePlus tweak color reproductions of their camera systems to look more natural. So we're not exactly looking at the entire Hasselblad system. Hasselblad is just using their technology to help, their know-how to help tweak existing camera systems that OnePlus has bought from Sony. So the camera themselves are sourced from Sony and will offer 12-bit RAW capture similar to Samsung's new S21 models. Big branding names aside, we don't yet know if Hasselblad will pull the OnePlus, will do well for the OnePlus, unlike what Huawei failed miserably with Leica. Leica is also a legendary legacy camera maker, but Huawei mobile device cameras are still plagued with unnecessary and often annoying filters that automatically turn itself on even when we don't want them. Especially the portrait. You turn on the normal camera mode, you point it at someone, and it automatically switches to portrait. The color gets so saturated, everything is so bad. Why can't we just have what we want without being pushed to use certain filters that we don't need? Leica is a very known brand, and to be honest, in my opinion, Huawei has brought down the brand image of Leica quite a bit. So Hasselblad has also previously loaned its name to Motorola, which didn't actually turn out as memorable as well. So if you don't remember, there, proves my point. So we'll see. In any case, OnePlus is a very good phone. I just hope that they don't have those pop-up front cameras. I hope that the front cameras will stay as a pinhole, which is so much better to use. And perhaps their cameras are more naturally colored. They really shine. The real performance of the camera really shines. Surface 4 laptops to come with Intel and AMD configs. Hooray! I've been looking for AMD configs Surface laptops for a while, but they're getting more and more popular these days. Microsoft may be revealing the 4th generation of the widely popular Surface laptop sometime in April. This time, they will come with a range of Intel and AMD chips. It's going to be more, Ryzen 4, Ryzen 5. It's not the top of the range ones, but no one actually used Surface laptops for gaming anyway, so it's probably adequate. The Outlook, the chassis itself will stay because Microsoft chassis is timeless. They have no reason to change it. It works very well. Everybody loves it. So yeah, there will be a 13.5 and 15-inch models with 3.3:2 aspect ratio, which is good for browsing, whereas 16:9 is good for video viewing. So 3.3:2 is a good one, and RAM can be boosted up to 32 gigabytes. They may be addressing some battery life and performance issues that they had with the Surface 3, and the good choice of processors is actually good for users as well. I wonder if a similarly spec'd Ryzen model can be cheaper as their Intel counterpart, because everywhere else, if you get a laptop that is similarly spec'd, right? The only difference is one runs Intel, one runs Ryzen. The Ryzen one will be a couple $100 less than the Intel counterparts. I wonder if the Surface is going to be priced similarly, or it's going to be the same price. Because if it is the same price, then technically it's not fair, right? Because Ryzen chips are a fraction cheaper. We'll see. Dorsey selling his first tweet. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey is auctioning his first NFT converted tweet, and the highest bid at this point is $2.5 million US. By the 21st of March, this auction will end, and the money raised will be donated to a non-profit that lets donors send money directly to people living in poverty. So, the donation isn't directly sent to people living in poverty. It is given to a non-organization that lets donors send money directly to people living in poverty. So he's actually funding an organization rather than the cause itself. For those who did not listen to my explanation of what is an NFT, or were not paying attention on its sudden rise to fame, here's a quickie. Non-fungible token, NFT, is a method of attaching a unique code to a digital item, making it impossible to duplicate. It uses the same method as cryptocurrencies. And what it does is it has a bunch of ledgers all around, and each NFT, each digital item gets a code. So by altering that item, and if you do not alter all the items that is in all the journals across the world, the item cannot be duplicated. So it's kind of like a banknote with a serial number. So this creates scarcity for the item, much like how physical items are today. There is scarcity, and naturally causes the value of that unique item to soar. The new owner of Dorsey's first tweet will receive a digital certificate of the tweet and know that they have spent their money helping others. The tweet itself will be viewable on the internet for free. I guess it will be like tweet owned by someone, unless of course Dorsey or Twitter deletes the tweet and render it useless. At the end of the day, you don't buy the tweet itself, right? I mean, you want to pay 2.5 million so that you're helping someone. So at the end of the day, that is what it should be. But people don't buy into helping poverty, because if they were to see value in helping poverty, there would not be poverty at this point anymore. They want to buy something, what is this called? Scarce. And because there's value, because it's scarce, probably 10 years down the road, they can sell it for 25 million. That's what they're looking for. Disney Plus hits 100 million subscribers, spells demise for cinemas. In less than a year and a half, Disney Plus is happy to announce they've hit past 100 million subscribers worldwide. Success is a combination of many things, including COVID, its expansion across more countries, as in not COVID's expansion, but Disney Plus expansion across multiple countries, its release of WandaVision series, and the announcement of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and possibly even Raya and the Last Dragon. So a lot of good content, a lot of strong IPs. Naturally, Disney Plus would do very well. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? At this rate, Disney Plus stands to be Netflix's stiffest competitor. No other subscription TV is close to it. But where Disney Plus thrives in major American IPs, Netflix is famous for working with alternative creators across the world. The difference between Disney Plus and Netflix is that Disney Plus buys up a lot of major American IPs like National Geographic. I don't know if National Geographic is American, but yeah, it's on that side. So they have Marvel, they have Disney, all these kinds of IPs that are already very strong. Whereas what Netflix is doing is they constantly go out and find local production companies, local production houses, and create series and movies from that place. So you have South Korean ones, you have the German ones, you have the Dutch ones, you have these kinds of movie makers, and it localizes Netflix a lot more than, I guess, Disney Plus will not be able to do it, because Disney Plus is always a Hollywood style production method, rather than Netflix is more localized. If Disney continues to release its blockbuster movies and series straight to viewers, so there is a trend going on now, right? Disney is releasing a bunch of Marvel stories in a form of series, because WandaVision is a raving success. I haven't watched it, but everybody says it's good. And Raya and the Last Dragon was supposed to be released in cinema, but it's going into Disney Plus, and everybody's watching it there. So there is a trend that is going, and if Disney sees value in releasing it to the users directly via Disney Plus, they will be less inclined to go to the cinemas, like release it to cinemas. And at this point, cinemas are only showing feature films, like 1.5, 2 hour kind of films. If Disney sees more value in formatting their Marvel shows into series instead of movies, then they will be releasing less movies, which means that the cinemas will show less Marvel movies. And if others see the same trend as well, so everything is moving into streaming format, short form series, 10 episodes per season, kind of like long form movie, I guess. It's longer than a movie, but it's shorter than a traditional series, 26 episode per season series. So that this kind of new thing is going on. So if this happens, right, would the cinema industry change? That's the question that I'm getting to. Would we eventually see cinemas show half-an-hour serials to adapt to the changing film production trend? Because, okay, not everyone will buy Disney Plus. I will subscribe to Disney Plus because not everyone will watch all the shows that Disney Plus has to offer. And right now, all these subscription platforms is like usually one plan for all, right? You pay for something, you have access to everything. You can't have access to only Disney Channel. You can't have access to only National Geographic. And nobody will possibly subscribe to all the TV subscriptions in the world. There are so many, and they're all just starting to come up. Paramount Plus, there's the Peacock, and every one of them has a few shows that we like, but not all the shows we like. So we'll essentially be paying like 500-600 ringgit a month just to watch, to have access to all the subscriptions, which means that there will always be a place for aggregators like Astro to charge us one sum for access to bits of the best shows everywhere. But as cinemas lose their relevance in this new wave of television or movie or shows or whatever, right? Will they start competing with TV box providers? And will they go into streaming? Or will they, I guess the first thing they will do is they will repurpose their real estate. They have cinemas, right? Instead of showing full-length films, they probably show series, charges less, maybe like 4 ringgit per episode of WandaVision, let's say, instead of 20 ringgit for one movie. And then we go in, sit half an hour, get out, right? And then eventually they may go into TV streaming as well because they have access to all these shows and everything like that. And, they still want to go into movie shows, but they can't do it because less and less production teams are producing long-form movies. So, well, that will probably happen in, next 5-10 years? But I think there is a shift that is coming. There is a disintermediation going on where cinemas would need to be aggregators of TV shows, kind of like Astro. They will be competing with Astro, which is not very tough because Astro isn't exactly doing anything to evolve into today anyway. They're still stuck with their old style. So yeah, one guy comes along, does it, and beat Astro to the punch. That's all for this week. There is no Tech of the Week. It's pretty hard to get Tech of the Week because there either is something good or there isn't. So I'm just going to keep this empty. Laytechs Weekly is available in Anchor FM, Overcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and I post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Laytechs Weekly, episode 10th March 2021. My name is Sean. See you next week. Stay safe. Au revoir.